So we have the NCAA Women's College Basketball scores for Wednesday, January 28th, 2026. We have a bunch of mid-major teams and some power conference teams as well. Let's talk about the games. We have Minnesota, a fringe top 25 team, like on the verge of receiving maybe a few votes. They are 6-4 now in Big Ten play after they defeated Penn State East in 66. Penn State did not play this game without Gracie Merkel, their star center. She was out with injury against Oregon. She was out. She got injured in the game. In the game before their Oregon game. She was out at Oregon, and then they played at home against Minnesota. And they defeated Minnesota defeated Penn State East in 66. Penn State. So they tried to have some up-tempo offense in the first half, and it worked. But in the second half, they just couldn't get that. Minnesota had a different strategy, and it worked. Just more aggressive, and I thought, I'm like, well, okay, it's probably gonna be like it was against Wisconsin, like 80-50, but it was in the second, late in that second half, and Minnesota started turning around, and that was a good sign. They went East and like I said, Arizona State, they beat Arizona 68-61. New Mexico 68-57 over UNLV. Even UNLV their second conference loss this season. They lost to the number one team, San Jose State, and they lost to New Mexico as well on the road. Mexico was at home. UConn blows out Xavier 97-39 the Peacock game. Number 2 with UConn. They up their media rates, with the Big East moving to. They used to be on SNY UConn games, and we're on. When stepping on Flow Sports, they were on SNY. UConn had to deal with SNY. And SNY only shows baseball for pro sports. Otherwise, they show mostly like college sports. So. But, and then now with the games on streaming, they're going to be on either Peacock, like NBC, on like the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Peacock, or NBC Sports Network. They could be during the weekends too. But that's NBC Sports Network's on YouTube TV. They're testing on YouTube TV and like Xfinity, like cable systems. But yeah, it might be on like Peacock. They're testing out too, like in like a free channel section on Peacock. They have the free TV ones. It might be on like that. That's pretty much like they're testing out, hoping to bring it back to like either cable providers and satellite providers. Number 2 UCLA 67 only. Number 25 Washington in double overtime. They defeat number 16 Maryland 83-80. This was on Big Ten Plus. Normally ranked is not on Big Ten Plus, but this one ended up. I shouldn't say for women's basketball it isn't. Usually it's not. Like you might have lacrosse or softball or baseball or like wrestling or hockey. Some other sports you may have, but not but surprising to see like women's basketball top 25 ranked matchup on Big Ten Plus, but it was. I'm surprised that this one wasn't on, and then UConn UConn is on at the same time. I'm kind of surprised, or Peacock, or they have one on, one on, then the next. I'm kind of surprised too, but Peacock, I think they want to have it on NBC Sports Network too. And number Iowa State E470 or Texas Tech. Texas Tech now gets their third loss of the season. Monmouth with a Wednesday night game, or it was supposed to be a Sunday afternoon game because of Coastal Athletic Association. They do Fridays and Sundays. This was a Sunday or Wednesday morning. Excuse me. This was a Wednesday morning game at 11 a.m. Eastern. I went to, and it went to SNY. It was on Flow Sports. And SNY. Flow Sports has the streaming rights to it, and then SNY has the rights. So, like ESPN Plus has that too, where if the games are in linear TV channels, like local TV channels or cable TV channels, or like cable TV channels or local TV channels, in the area, like local cable satellite providers, like local cable providers in the area, or local channels, you know what I mean, like local cable channels, or local over-the-air channels, whereas or regional sports networks on like national syndication, like DirecTV, like SNY's Dish Network or Xfinity, VCU 60 and 58. It's not a Kids Day one though. They did not turn into Kids Day though, because it's impromptu game. VCU 69 5804. That was an education game at Virginia Commonwealth for the Rams. The VCU Rams against the Foreman. Most of the Foremans. There was some kids in there. It wasn't a full packed gym like it was like they originally were planning on having, like more of a full gym. But it did have some kids in there. Miami, Ohio hosts went to Northern Illinois for their education day. And Northern Illinois won that, or Miami, Ohio won that 71-43. San Diego State in a low-scoring game against Cross State. Cross State had a chance to go to overtime, but they just couldn't take it to double overtime. Or overtime, I know, my bad. I said double overtime. Overtime. They couldn't. They just missed the layup. Tried to have a tying layup, and just lost got lost out of bounds. And 46-44 San Diego State survives. Goes 16-3 overall. 10-0 in Mountain West play. They were 6-3 in non-conference. Now they're 16-3 overall, including with their 10 straight wins in conference play. Grand Canyon defeats Utah State 86-66. UTSA. This game was supposed to be North Texas at UTSA was supposed to be Tuesday night. Was supposed to be a Tuesday night game. But due to weather in Texas, like the snow, like ice, there's ice conditions, like freezing rain, ice conditions in Texas, and for down there, in like Texas, if you get like an inch or two of snow, like they don't drive in it, like they're not used to it. People that live down there, they're used to driving at all in an inch or two of snow at all, pretty much, everything's like shut down. So, but that game got moved to 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. local time today, and UTSA won 66-64 North Texas. UTSA had the big lead, down 11-5 after one, but had a big, sizable lead in the second quarter. No, not much. It was actually 26-19. But in the third, they had more sizable lead. And then in the fourth, North Texas almost clawed back and won, or forced overtime, but they were 36-20. But UTSA survives 66-64. Lafayette, they played early game 4:30. I don't know if that was due to weather or the men's team was playing. They were doing the men's women's doubleheader, or they had something else going on campus. I'm not really sure. You know what I mean? Not really sure. I'm talking like maybe something major. They moved this up to 4:30 Eastern. Maybe it's men's women's doubleheader. That's the only thing I could thought of. Well, Lafayette won 65-56. George Washington 64-60 St. Louis. Richmond blows out Duquesne 86-55. Especially that big, huge first quarter. Duquesne now falls. They had actually good non-conference 7 for them, 7-4, but they lost 10 straight. They start like 10 play, 10 straight, which is just a disappointment. Richmond only has 8 games because the Their game against George Mason got postponed to March 16th. President's Day. Army 64-55 over Lehigh. Brett Winthrop 74-42 over Presbyterian. High Point goes to 8-0 in Big South with the Eastham 66 win over Charleston Southern. Holy Cross in overtime survives against Colgate 60-50. Loyola Maryland 63-53 over American University. Eastern Michigan goes to Buffalo, and Eastern Michigan defeats Buffalo 71-51. Buffalo had Becky Burke for a while. They end up becoming like one of the top teams in the map, like top 3, 4. They were like Toledo, Miami, Ohio, and then you had Ball State, Miami, But now in like the map, you got third place. So you got 3 teams in the map. So Buffalo was one of them. They've fallen off dramatically. They have a new coach though, and they're trying to implement a new system. And like a lot of the players, and there's now a lot of return. Most of the players from that team either transfer to other schools, or they follow their head coach to Becky Burke to Arizona. Some might feel betrayed that hey, you're leaving to go to another job. Hey, I'll take you at Arizona. And I know what you got, and I know you can. So. And then Troy, in a good mid-major bout, Troy and March on the Sun Belt. Troy survives over March 85-82. Georgia Southern stays at the top, stays a half game ahead of Troy. 70-67 win over Southern Miss. Coastal Carolina 85-53 blow over Texas State. St. Joseph 69-60 over LaSalle. Oakland 64-61 survive over IU Indianapolis. Ball State goes to 81 in the MAC with a 76-71 over Central Michigan. Old Dominion 85-62 over Lisa Monroe. Dean 75-71 over St. Bonaventure. George Mason goes to 9-0 in the conference. They're only at 9 because of the game to the postponement. They haven't had their off one yet. When because there's an odd number of teams, so they haven't. One team, every team takes their turn not playing one day. And they went out, like either Saturday, Sunday, or Wednesday. And George Mason hasn't taken theirs yet. It's just because they're playing on the 16th over. Against Richmond in the makeup from Saturday the 24th. That was supposed to be played. Due to weather, the winter weather in the area. So, and then Crane 81-51 over St. John's. 74-53 over Rutgers. Oregon beats Rutgers. Radford blows out South Carolina State with a 19-2 first score that really would put them out. And that 20-10 third. But then 12-10 in the second. 16-7 in the fourth. But just really from the start, 19-2. Radford played even South Carolina State, but South Carolina State needed to go on a big quarter run of their own, and they just couldn't. And 67-29, Radford with the win. Longwood 76-70 over Webb. Navy goes to A1 in the Patriot League with a 57-47 over Boston University. Cleveland State goes to 500 in the Horizon League with a 66-46 over Rocky. Massachusetts goes to 7-2 in the Mid-America Conference, 85-76 over Ohio. Toledo 58-53 over Kent State. Bowling Green 80-62 over Akron. Oklahoma State 67-51 over BYU. Marquette 74-73 over DePaul. Rice 65-56 over Temple. Nebraska 89-73 over Northwestern. South Dakota 67-55 over St. Thomas, Minnesota. South Dakota State 85-41 over Omaha. And to close out the Whipper, Wyoming, despite scoring only 1 point in the second quarter, they win 47-42 over Fresno State. Fresno State, though, in that second quarter only scored 9, so